Join me, everyone. We're going to do page 6a. We're going to do Daf Vav Amud Aleph as we continue our goal, and we're moving right along as we try to. Pesach's actually coming, and we're going to begin on Pesach. We start learning. Hopefully, once we have this recorded, we'll study every year. Gemara Saita, this Talmud, is 49 pages. We're supposed to study it between Pesach and Shavuos. So it's good we're learning. It'll be easiest for it to review every year. Okay, let's go. Let us learn. So we actually finished our first Mishnah. Congratulations to our class. This is the first time that you've done this, learned the whole Gemara from the beginning. We're going to now begin our second Mishnah. And it's really one topic. It's one Mishnah. And the Mishnah picks on one specific statement from Reb Sheshes. Doesn't even say that in our Mishnah, but he proves it from our Mishnah, and it goes through the rest of this entire page and the whole next page on discussing this interesting topic, which I'm going to share with you in a moment. Just giving you the line of it. Today we're going to learn just this side, and then next week, or hopefully we'll learn the next time we learn. We'll do 6b. We'll do 6a today, and we'll do 6b the next time we learn. So, if you remember, our Mishnah spoke about the basics of a soita, a woman who is a suspected adulteress. And we finished off saying that when she's in that time before the water checks her, she's not allowed to live with her husband like a married life. And also, what did we say in that Mishnah? that if her husband's a kohen, normally the wife of a kohen gets to enjoy the benefits of her husband who is a kohen, and the benefits of a husband who's a kohen is that he could eat truma. He gets the 2% of food, and he can't just give that to anyone to eat who wants because it's a holy food. But his wife can eat together with him the 2% that he gets, the truma that he gets. But now that she's a suspected adulteress, she's kind of put in pause, and we don't know if she is going to be married to him or not. So for the moment being, since she was hidden in the room, her husband warned her, and she was hidden in the room, she now cannot partake in the 2% in the truma. So from that, our Mishnah continues that there can be other permanent cases which the woman will then continuously, in other words, I guess we're not waiting anymore for the waters to check out, but that's it, she's canceled and she's not allowed to eat truma at that point in time. Ve'elu, and he's going to tell us a list of 5 cases in our Mishnah which the woman cannot eat truma permanently from here on. Ve'elu asuras, and these are prohibited. Melechel b'truma, to eat truma from here on, they're not allowed to eat truma. That's it. Ha'omeres temeya nilacha. If the wife tells the husband, I am tamei, I am impure, I cheated. So in other words, not just the case of where there's suspicion here because there's water or so on. The woman actually told her husband that I violated our marriage, right? She can't stay married. Now she's officially cannot stay married to him anymore, and therefore she cannot eat truma. That's case 1. Case 2, Vishaba'u edim shehi tmeya, that witnesses came, just as powerful as her admitting, maybe even more powerful. Witnesses came, and they say, Mister, we are testifying to the Bezdin and to the husband. We saw and we know that your wife was with another man. And now she cannot stay married to him anymore, and therefore she cannot eat truma. That's case number 2. And our discussion is going to be on this case. We're not going to even discuss in our Gemara the rest of the cases. Our Gemara is going to bring this as a proof. We're going to share a new idea that does not mention in our Mishnah. The reason why our Gemara is going to be connected with this notion that witnesses came and said, you should know that the wife that you're suspecting or whatever, you should know we have testimony that she cheated, and therefore automatically she won't be able to share in truma anymore. Okay, but meanwhile, what's case 3? So we have 1 where she admitted that she cheated. Case 2 is that they say that she cheated, and now she can't stay married to her kohen husband, and she can't eat his truma. And another interesting case, which we'll learn about the stuff in other Gemaras later on, Eini Shoisa. She says, I'm not drinking. I don't want to drink. And they want her to drink in a way because we need to know, did you cheat or not? She's saying, I'm telling you I didn't cheat. Yeah, but we have witnesses that you went in the room with that guy. And we have witnesses that your husband warned you. She says, I don't care, I'm not drinking. Okay, you're not drinking, fine, but you cannot be married to your husband if you don't want to go through the process to prove your innocence. And you cannot eat truma anymore either. That's case 3. Number 4, another interesting case, or the husband himself doesn't want her to drink. He's like, get it, can't stay married. I don't want my wife to drink. I don't want to see her get hurt. Let's say he believes she really did it and he doesn't want her to drink. So they don't go through the drinking process unless both of them are willing partners to go through that experience, right? They want, the woman believes she really didn't do anything. They want the woman to go through that process. They want her to prove her innocence, but she's saying, I don't want to drink. Maybe she knows she's really guilty or she's scared of it, whatever the fact is, or the husband saying, but the problem is we can't know now that she didn't really do anything in the room with the guy, and therefore she cannot eat truma. The Shabaila, another interesting case, and we'll discuss all this stuff in the Gemara later on. If the husband Baala Habaderech cohabited with her on the way, so in other words, after the whole situation, and they taking her to the Bezdin, and the husband and wife on the way, and the woman's going there, it's a whole process. They bring her to the Bezdin, and then the Bezdin, they have to first verify that she really was warned, and then they want to scare her, and they bring her to the Beis Hamikdash to drink the water. And on somewhere in between, the husband goes and cohabits with her, and that will cause that the water, I guess, can't be checked anymore. The husband's not allowed to live with her. Once she's a suspected adulteress, the husband and wife are not allowed to live together anymore. It's prohibited. And he went and he did it, and that will disqualify. It won't work anymore, and therefore they won't be able to give her the drink. And if they can't give her the drink, there's nowhere to prove that she's really innocent. And since there's nowhere to prove that she's innocent, she's not allowed to eat truma anymore because she's not allowed to stay married to her husband. So we have 5 cases of, again, we finished, just to recap, there's 5 cases in our Mishnah. Number 1, and that she cannot stay married to her husband and she cannot eat truma anymore. Either she says, I really did the violation, I committed adultery, or witnesses say that or option 2 is witnesses say she committed adultery, or she refuses to drink, or he refuses to give her to drink, or the husband and wife cohabited after they already took her to Bezdin and said she needs to drink, they went and cohabited, or after the husband suspected her, they went and cohabited when he's not allowed to be with her. In all 5 of those cases, the water doesn't work. There's no point in drinking the water. The fact is, she's not allowed to stay married to him, and therefore the woman is not cannot eat truma anymore because of that situation. Those are the 5 cases of our Mishnah. Now, for our discussion, as I said, we'll not really be discussing the details of that. That will come along later on in the Gemara and stuff, but what we are going to be discussing is what did Reb Sheshes say. Interesting statement by Reb Sheshes, and that will be the rest of the Gemara. We'll discuss his thing. Amar Rav Amram. Rav Amram said, Hamilsa, this idea, this fact, this thought, Amar Lon, Rav Sheshes said to us, Rav Sheshes told us something interesting, told us something new. The Harlon, and he enlightened, Einin, our eyes, mimasnisin from a Mishnah. So in other words, he also is going to, meaning, he shared with us something new. He's going to prove it from a verse, and he's also going to prove it from a verse, and he's also going to bring it out from a Mishnah, going to show from our Mishnah that we just learned, even though it doesn't say this, he's going to prove from our Mishnah what his new idea he wants to say. What's his idea? First, let's share the idea. Saita, a suspected adulteress, sheyesh la edim b'medinas hayam, that has sheyesh la edim, that she has witnesses, but b'medinas hayam, in a country off the waters, very far away, basically. So for somehow, and remember, it's an interesting case because it's a funny case. Sounds like a little bit, because how could it be? In other words, or maybe the husband warned her because he suspected this woman with another guy, and she went and she hid with that man, and there's witnesses, but these witnesses that there's there are not here now. They're far away. They're in a faraway place. So the fact is, there is a case of a suspected adulteress, but there are witnesses that she cheated, but they're not local, they're far away. So there exists, in theory, in the world, there are witnesses who could prove that this woman is an adulteress. But right now, right here, right now, we're dealing with the fact that we don't know. We don't know that those witnesses even exist. But right now, we need to give her the water to drink to prove that she's really innocent. He says something fascinating. If there are witnesses that are not there, ein hamayim boitkin oisa, the water will not check her. Water will not be able to tell you, as long as there are witnesses out there in the world, water will not be able to tell you, will not work, will not tell you that, she won't get sick from it. It won't help. It won't make her become easier births and better births if she didn't cheat. And it won't also kill her if she did cheat. The waters will not be able to check her out because there are witnesses that exist. It's a very interesting, fascinating statement. So he says, my time, what's my reason? First, he's going to bring a verse, as I said. The Amar Kra, because the verse says, it says in the Pasuk, this is a very famous verse that we quoted many times. We use this in the beginning of the Gemara, on the first page of Talmud that we learned, that how many witnesses are required. But he's going to use it for completely something else. Vinistira, but what does the verse say? The verses discuss the suspected adulteress. It says Vinistira. Vinistira means she hid. Vihi nitma, and she became impure. We learned it earlier. We didn't know. She hid, she became impure. And we said ve'ed and ve'ed ein ba, and there are no witnesses there. And if you remember, we learned in the Gemara then that means that there were no two witnesses there, but there was one. And if there's one, that we don't give her the water to drink, even though that's not a proof. The fact is, one is enough to stop her from drinking. But here he wants to say the term means ve'ed ein ba, the leka de yadaba, the simple meaning of the verse, not the whole deep meaning we gave that there wasn't two, but there was one. The leka de yadaba, that did not know about her, means there was no witnesses that knew about her in the world in existence. So when the verse says, describing in the simple meaning, let me describe the suspected adulteress and the waters we give her to drink, it says v'nistra, she hid, v'nitman, and she became impure, v'eid ein ba, and the water's trying to test her, but there's no witnesses that know about her. The leka the adaba. That's the meaning of it. There's no witnesses there, meaning no witnesses exist in the world. That's the simpler way, besides the deeper way of learning it about the conversation. The Torah has many layers of that, how many witnesses are required. Simple meaning is that there's no witnesses that know about it. La'afuki, coming to exclude. This case of Reb Sheshes, the teacher Reb Sheshes is trying to teach us. The ha'ika, because here there is the yadaba that knows about her. And therefore, the yadaba, and therefore it won't work. Reb Sheshes said it's not going to work. So therefore, I'm going to show you what the Torah says. The whole setup, the whole explanation, the whole idea of a suspected adulteress with this whole water we're going to give her to drink is in a case where witnesses don't know, because if there are witnesses that know, then the water will not be able to test her and not give her to drink, because according to Reb Sheshes, it doesn't work. Okay, fascinating shtickle Gemara, brand new idea from Reb Sheshes. Reb Sheshes wants to share us. Reb Amram is sharing the name of Reb Sheshes, that the waters won't work if there are witnesses that know. Now, remember I told you, besides a verse, he's going to bring a Mishnah, and that is where how this Gemara comes into our play in our Mishnah. V'anharalon einin, and he enlightened our eyes. Mimasnisin, also from a Mishnah, not just from a verse, but also from a Mishnah. Now, Rashi says, why does he need a Mishnah if he has a verse, pasuk in the Torah? Because for the exact reason we mentioned, this pasuk was used in the earlier Gemara to tell us that there's no witnesses there. It's teaching us that even if there's no two witnesses there, only one, we still don't give her to drink. So kind of already using those words to teach us something. So it's not, I guess there's, how else can he prove his idea besides from the pasuk? And he uses our Mishnah. He brings a very interesting case explaining our Mishnah to prove what he wants to say. And I told you he's going to be challenged right away. Rabbi Kodev Yosef, and Rav's going to challenge him. It's going to be a number of challenges to question his idea. Remember, what's his idea? His idea is a fascinating idea that if there are witnesses there that are privy to the information that she cheated, the the water of the Seder won't work. How does he prove it though from our Mishnah? So here he goes. The Ketani, we learned in our Mishnah, he quotes our Mishnah, which is the second of the 5 cases where the woman can't eat truma. What did it say? Shabou la edim, that witnesses came, shehid tmeya, that she is tummy, that she's impure. Right? What was the second case of our Mishnah? That if witnesses come, say she's impure, you should know that she doesn't eat truma. She can't stay married to her husband, and she doesn't eat truma. So the Gemara says, well, the asu edim emas. When did those 2 witnesses come? Well, let's figure this out. Let's break it down. Telling me if 2 witnesses come, she can't stay married to her husband. Right? Remember, she's a suspected adulteress. 2 witnesses came, said she can't stay married to her husband. She cannot. I'm sorry, no water drinking. Witnesses are here. You can't eat shroom anymore. When did they come? If you want to say mikame desishte, before she drank the water. Witnesses came before she drank the water. Then Zaina, she's a straight out Zaina. She's a harlot. She's an adulteress. I mean, who even needs the water here? 2 witnesses come. The golden standard of testimony in Judaism is witnesses. 2 witnesses came, said this woman, we saw this woman cheat. Forget the water. Forget your husband. Forget your marriage. Forget your truma. Forget your kohen. You are an adulteress. So, of course, I mean, come on. This is what the Mishnah has to tell us. One of the 5 cases where you only truma. Like she doesn't want to drink. He doesn't want to drink. There's 2 witnesses here. What? Who's even talking about drinking? You're not even going to give her to drink.
And they warned her, right?
Hello, yeah, but I mean, I mean, maybe I don't know if warning. I don't know if they know, but they saw the fact that she cheated. I don't know if it was warning. She can't stay married to her husband. I mean, maybe warning come.
In order for Adam to come and give testimony, don't they have to have warned her? It has to be lesser, right?
I think it's probably for punishment. If you want to give a punishment, the fact is the guy Kohen can't stay married to his wife. Kohen can't stay married to his wife because she cheated. So I don't know if I imagine it doesn't have anything to do with the warning, but when you punish, you're right. You have to have a warning. But this is, she probably doesn't know that they knew about it, or she maybe wouldn't do it. It seems like, but the fact is the woman can't stay married to a kohen. Ella, rather, here's where it's going to get interesting. So it must be the basar d'shtai after she drank. So, because they're giving her to drink, and but he says something fascinating. If you want to say, now this is something interesting. I don't get it here. Here, let me explain to you what the Gemara is going to say. I have a problem. Wait a second. She drank the water, and she's not dead because we're having this conversation now. We're saying she can't eat the truma. So the water didn't work. Wait a second. And now witnesses are coming and telling us that the water should have worked because you're testifying that you saw her cheat. So something's very wrong over here. You're telling me the witnesses are coming after she drank the water. Now, she should have dropped dead if she really cheated. She didn't. She's alive. And then you're telling me the witnesses didn't come before because who's even talking about drinking? So you're telling me the cases the witnesses came after. Well, if the witnesses came after and she didn't drop dead, the witnesses must be lying. Because if the water really checks and will prove if she's innocent or guilty, and 2 witnesses are saying, we saw that she cheated. What do you mean you saw that she cheated? She's alive. She drank the water. You must be liars. So something's wrong. Now you get it. That's what Reb Shesha says. No, it's not a problem because if witnesses know about it, and I guess they could end up coming and testifying, the waters, maybe Hashem made it or whatever, the magical potion of waters will not be the proof, won't work. We're going to have to wait for witnesses to come, and the witnesses will tell the information that you cheated, and that's how you're going to get whatever punishment you get. You're not going to be able to stay married to your husband. But the fact is, I just made some of that stuff up. But let me not mix up the things that I'm adding. Just say what he's saying. It must be that the witness won't die if there's testimony, because otherwise we could say we wouldn't believe the witnesses, because the fact is, if the water works, unless, according to what Rav Sheshes is saying, that if there's witnesses there, that's why the water is not working. So he's saying, let's go inside now. So he must be the witnesses came after she drank, not before, because if she came before, she's not even a question here of a suspected adulteress. She's a straight out harlot. So it must be after. So if you want to say if you say like Reb Sheshes' novelty, what he wants to share in our Gemara, the chiddush, the novelty, the idea, a new idea in our Gemara here of Reb Sheshes, that the waters will not identify, will not work, will not test her. If there is testimony, Shapir, makes sense. There are witnesses showing up. We believe the witnesses, and at the same time, she didn't die. But if you say no, even if there are witnesses, we're not going to go with the novelty of Sheshes. That even if there are witnesses, the water will clarify and determine and testify, and the fact that the waters didn't work is a proof that she didn't cheat. We have clear proof because we followed the Torah's concoction. Then Tigali Milsa, it should reveal the Mafreya back to Sahadi Shakri, that these are fake witnesses. We have proof that you're liars because she was tested and she didn't die, and therefore you're liars. So that's why Reb Sheshes holds that it's possible for it to happen. It's possible for it to work, and the witnesses are not liars. It's simply that whenever there's witnesses there, the testimony doesn't allow the waters to work, and therefore she didn't die. That is the novelty of our Gemara, the fascinating chiddush of our Gemara. He proved it from the pasuk because the verse says be'edein ba, that there's no testimony there, then the waters will work, and also from our Mishnah. And now is going to be the first challenge, the first argument out of 3, or even 3.5, throughout a Gemara to challenge Reb Sheshes' perspective. Amr le Rabbi Yosef. So Rabbi Yosef says to Rabbi Sheshes, Rabbi Yosef says to this idea that Rabbi Sheshes says, La'olam, really, Amar le'olam, where am I holding here? A malach, I'll tell you, Mayim Baitkin Oisa, water does checker even if there are witnesses. So you're going to ask me, well, how come she's alive? V'ha'emar, here we'll say, zchus toilalah, it's possible to have another reason why the waters won't work. And I'm going to explain this in a second. Because of great merit that she has, the waters didn't end up killing her. The bottom line is, it's possible to have a person drink the water and the water won't work. Not because the reason Reb Sheshes, he's saying, wants to say that cause there's witnesses there. No, nothing to do with that. Witnesses will not take away the water from working. Well, then how come these witnesses are not liars? Because we're going to learn this later on in the Gemara, that if the person has tremendous reward, the woman won't die. Now, let me explain to you a Mishnah, because this obviously is going to question this whole premise here of the water, and explain to you a Mishnah on Daf Chof Beis on page 22, which we're going to get to before the end of the year, that has exactly this discussion between the Chachamim, the rabbis, and Rebbe and Reb Shimon. And the discussion is, there's a debate between Rebbe and the Chachamim, if it's possible for someone to have tremendous merit and reward that will protect them from this water. We're going to even quote, I believe now, part of that Mishnah over here. It's an interesting debate. And one of the opinions hold is that everybody agrees she'll get sick. The question is, could it be toila? Toila means could it like slow it down? Or maybe not work fully. So everybody is in agreement. I mean, these two opinions are in agreement, at least, Rebbe and Chachamim, that for sure it will start kicking in some effect. But if someone has a merit and a reward of Torah, can that somehow diminish or lessen the terrible catastrophe of what's supposed to meant to happen to this woman? And that's the machlekes over here between the two. And there's a third opinion, and that is Reb Shimon, which we'll also see today. And he says, no, we can't say that it's going to diminish at all, because that's crazy, because people will stop believing the water. How does anybody know if the water works? It's just caveats and possibilities for people not to buy in. In other words, you could make up excuses. Then how is this a potion that works? But even according to the two opinions that you could diminish the power of it, there's a question how much it could diminish it. One opinion is that still has the terrible effect that these waters have, which is the stomach explodes and the woman gets all sick. Just it makes it at a much slower process, but she will end up dying from this after 3 years. And the other opinion is no, that the power and the merit that somebody has, she will die, I think after 3 years too, but she'll die a different death. Hashem will make her pass away in another kind of sickness, another way. She'll end up passing away. And those are the three opinions in our Gemara. Let's see it inside now. So Rabbi Yosef said, right? He says the water's checker, but it's possible that in merit, because of a merit, she didn't die. So therefore, you don't have to make up the reason, Reb Sheshes, is that because there's witnesses there, it's possible that she didn't die. So it's possible for the witnesses to be saying the truth and she didn't die from the medicine. No. She didn't die because of merit, and the witnesses are saying the truth, and you don't have to make up the reason that there are witnesses there, she doesn't die. So the Gemara says, what is Rabbi Yosef and Reb Sheshes arguing in, and why do they argue if we need to come on to the reason? Reb Sheshes says we need to say a new reason. The reason is because of the fact that there's witnesses there that will cause the potion not to work. And the basis says it's not true. What is the argument based in? And it's if we need to have this new reason that when there's witnesses there, she won't die from the concoction, from the water. And that's based in how they understand the debate between the Rebbe and the Chachamim in when she has merit, if she'll be safe. B'mas navna, the Rebbe, with the sickness, with the wasting away of Rebbe, that they over there, they want to say that she won't die right away. That's not. And he quotes the Mishnah there. It says in the Mishnah, Rebbe says, fascinating idea. Schus toila, merit could make it hang, could slow it down, could cause it to not, have the punishment come and so forceful right away. But mayim hamorim, with the bitter waters, that a merit, if she has tremendous merit of learning Torah, whatever it is, that could cause that it'll slow down the process. The Eina Yeledas, however, although she won't start dying maybe right away, Eina Yeledas, she's not going to start having children. Because remember, we said that the water will bring a blessing if she didn't do it. So everyone will know that the water is not proving her innocence because she's not having the positive effect. She doesn't become her beautiful. Ella rather, she becomes slowly more disgusting, more her body gets broken up at a slower process, but it's going to happen. L'soif, and at the end, according to Rebbe, he may say she will die, but also miss it with that death. So the concoction here, the mesoita, the water of this suspected adulteress, will kill her with that thing that she's supposed to die from, but it will just be a slower thing and not brought here. The Chachamim, the rabbis hold that merit even has the power that she won't even die. Perhaps she will die early, but she won't die from that sickness. It'll protect her that she'll die less painful, less of a death like that one, but she will end up passing away. Those are the two opinions. So Rabbi Yosef Savar, Rabbi Yosef listens to that debate between the Rebbe and the Chachamim about can merit protects her, and they say the Rebbe Havya Misnavna, that Rebbe holds that she's going to end up dying. It'll be slowly, gradually, but she'll end up dying. But the Rabban, and according to him, Lehavna Misnavna, she won't end up, her body won't start decaying. And I'm saying she won't have the same death at all. Or maybe even, I want to see what Rashi says over there for a second. Maybe she won't even, what's it called? That she won't get he actually learns, Rabbi Yosef says that she won't at all become disgusting. In other words, the merit could totally protect her. Now, according to that, it's a problem. So I'm sorry, that's why the total could total protect her. There'll be no indications, at least on her, at least for now, to see that she won't get sick because of merit. So therefore, it's not a question to Rabbi Yosef that why she still lived and she didn't start getting sick, and witnesses come and are saying that she's that she cheated. It's fine because maybe she has merit, and according to Rabbi Yosef, the opinion of the rabbis are that you won't see anything on her, and therefore you didn't see, and it's possible to work. However, Reb Sheshes disagrees with Reb Yosef. Reb Sheshes Savar, Bein l'Rebbe, Bein l'Rabbanan having misnavna. That according to both opinions, she will start getting sick and decaying. And even though she has merit, that will not prevent and that will not stop her from getting sick and having obvious signs that she's suffering from the sickness caused by the water. And Rabbi Yosef hold that Rebbe having misnavda only that according to Rebbe she will start getting sick. But abundantly having misnavda she won't get sick. So according to Rabbi Yosef, he has a simple answer why there's witnesses here, and the woman didn't die or start getting sick because he holds according to the Chachamim that merit could protect her. But according to Reb Sheshes, that doesn't believe that. He says everyone agrees that she will start getting sick right away and there will be clear signs that she cheated. So how come witnesses come? How come that she cheated? How come the water didn't work? And the answer is because that's what Reb Sheshes has to come up with a new reason. And Reb Sheshes has to say, you want to know why the waters didn't work, is because as long as there's witnesses there, the waters won't work and won't prove that she cheated. Very fascinating Gemara and a Svara of Reb Sheshes. And now we even understand Reb Yosef was arguing with him and debating with him and saying, according to my understanding, there's a possibility, according to the opinion of the Chachamim, that anyway she won't start decaying and getting sick from it because of merit, and you don't have to come up with a new reason. Reb Sheshes says no, if it's because of merit, according to all opinions, she's going to start getting sick and dying from it. And the reason, and therefore, how come witnesses come and she didn't start getting sick from the water? Because of a different reason, because of a new reason. Reb Sheshes wants to say that if there are witnesses there, the water won't check. And that's the end of part 1 of our Gemara. We're going to learn part 2 and part 3 and 4. We're going to go through in the next class. But let's move on to part 2, and then we'll take any questions after we finish part 2. Masiv Reb Shimon Bar Ashi. So Reb Shimon Bar Ashi asks a question on Reb Sheshes' logic. Sheshes a new idea that water won't test if there are witnesses there. Shimon Aimer, he brings the third opinion that I told you about. Reb Shimon says, I don't like this whole thing that merit could protect her. He says, I don't agree. Merit does not cause it to hang and become slow the process and protect her from the water. I don't believe that merit protects her from the bitter waters. No. And he says, why? Because if you want to say that merit does cause it to hang, but in the bitter water, we got a major problem on our hands. You are pushing the water away, like they're not respecting the water anymore from all the women that drink it. In other words, the women will say, I have a lot of merits. I did a lot of mitzvahs. We don't want them, we're going to learn the Gemara, to drink the water. If they think that, only if they really believe that they didn't sin, but if they think that they sinned, it's a terrible thing that they should drink the water, besides the fact that we probably don't want them to die. But we're erasing Hashem's name. A terrible thing. We want to make this water scary. But if you're telling me that if you have merit, the woman might not buy into it. And guess what? So even worse, maybe, you're causing a bad name, and all the women that drank it are pure, that they didn't cheat. Because all the women that were kind of proven not guilty by drinking the water, and they will say, Tamei, I saw you kidding, those women really did cheat. It is true, the rumors that are going around. But it was hung by their merit. So many women are not going to be afraid to drink the water, and they're going to erase Hashem's name, which is something that we don't want. If you're telling me merit could protect it. And number two, all the people that were proven innocent are not really innocent, because who wants to believe them? Everyone will say it's not true. The water simply protects someone that has merit. So Reb Shimon says, I don't like this. I don't agree with this. The waters check. I don't care if you have merit or you don't have merit. And the Gemara is going, this is Reb Shimi's question on Reb Sheshes. He's saying, just like Reb Shimon doesn't like this idea that we're using water, that we can take off the water power by merit, he won't either like the fact of witnesses here. In other words, he doesn't like the idea to say that merit will protect the water from working because no one will trust the water. Guess what? That's the same problem. If there's witnesses there and the water's not working, people will also say, maybe the woman really did cheat, but there's witnesses somewhere, and therefore the water's not working. That's what he's going. Let's read this out of the Gemara. And if you say yesh la'edim b'medinas hayam, that there are witnesses in a far off country, nami also you're saying a bad name on all the pure women that are innocent that drank the water. And they're going to say, the other women will say to me, they really were impure. But they have witnesses in the far off country. How do we know all the women that are innocent are innocent? When you're telling me so that Adam could disqualify the water from working. Fascinating observation. And that's Reb Shimon doesn't ask it. So the Gemara has a simple answer. So he's telling Reb Sheshes, you're coming up with a reason here and saying that the water won't work if there's witnesses there. Hello, Reb Shimon just said how much he doesn't like the idea of having the water not work when a woman has merit. Why would that not apply also to witnesses? And the Gemara says, you're right. Remember, there's three opinions. The Gemara is going to answer, you're right. Reb Shimon would not like this idea. But there are two other opinions who hold that merit does work. So don't question me from Reb Shimon's opinion that doesn't like merit to protect from the water, that he wouldn't like it here either. You're right, he wouldn't like it here either, but I'm not going according to his opinion. According to his opinion, he for sure would say that witnesses there would not stop the water from working, correct, for the reasons he mentioned. But he's the only one who mentions that by merit. Meanwhile, Rebbe and the Chachamim both hold that merit can protect you. And therefore, they would agree with my theory. The Reb Shimon, the Reb Shimon Ka'amrid, you're telling me, according to Reb Shimon, that he wouldn't stand up with my notion that witnesses will protect you from the water working. The Reb Shimon, according to Reb Shimon, just like merit won't help the water hang, witnesses will also not help the water hang. According to him, I agree with you. You're actually right. Your question is true, but that's only according to him. The other two opinions would agree with me that witnesses would be enough to cause the water not to work. And that is the end of our Gemara for today. Fascinating Gemara. To recap, maybe just we learned the Mishnah. The Mishnah said 5 reasons why a woman would not eat truma anymore. We brought the interesting idea of Reb Sheshes. Sheshes says that if there's witnesses there, the water won't work. We proved it from a verse because it says ve'edein ba, that there's no testimony there, and then we proved it from Mishnah, from our Mishnah, and he says from the fact that the witnesses are not proven fake witnesses when the woman didn't die from the water is indication that it's just because the water doesn't work when there are the witnesses there. Then we brought Rabbi Yosef, who argues with him, and we said, what is their argument based on? Their basic argument is, can we say that the reason the witnesses are still correct, even though she didn't die, is because of merit or not? Reb Sheshes says she would for sure start dying. It would still be clear indication, and therefore it can't be because of merit that she's protected from the water. So it must be another reason, and the reason is because there are witnesses here. That's why she's not dying. And then we brought second challenge from Reb Shimon. Reb Shimon doesn't agree with the whole idea that merit would protect a woman, and the answer Reb Sheshes would give is, you're right. He wouldn't agree here either, but according to Rabbi and Chachamim, it is possible for Reb Sheshes' idea to stand that if there are witnesses there, the water won't check her. And that is the end of today's